It's good, especially with our oh, no, it's okay. Thank you very much for coming. Really appreciate you being here. It's quite hot, so make sure that you get enough water. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed panelists and distinguished guests, thank you very much. Yes. Cyprus is currently at the forefront of a significant tech revolution. The numbers and trends we are seeing right now present a challenge for the economy and also for the parents and the companies that are being here. Last year, for example, we saw over 18,000 TCN-related work permits applied. To put that into perspective, this year, in the first 6 months, we already at 13,000 work permits. This is a testament to Cyprus' attractiveness as a tech hub. To give an idea, our BFU listed over 1,100 tech companies. That's impressive, and we believe there are more companies to follow. The dynamics in the workforce have been equally impressive. In 2020, we had around 11,200 IT professionals. This number skyrocketed to over 16,000 in 2021 and over 24,000 in 2022. We believe the number will even further increase in 2023, also thanks to several of the companies that I have the honor talking to today. As our tech industry grows, so does the pressing issue of school placement and the shortage our children face. In order to relocate professionals, we need to make sure that the interplay between the governments, the schools, and also the tech community is balanced, synergized, and optimized. Today's panel aims to spotlight these challenges, understand the intricacies, and promote a dialogue. We're here to find innovative strategies to nurture and support the very foundation that allows our industry to flourish, our professionals and their families. And with this, I'm giving over and I'm asking Dr. Koutsides, please, actually no, I'm asking everybody to do a quick introduction, and then afterwards I'll ask you a question. So please, for an introduction, maybe we do ladies first and then we go down the line, is that okay?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Liudmila Marochkina, and I'm executive director of the company DC Sportsoft. It's a Cyprus company which is specialized in developing of software for different kinds of organizations, e-sport, mass events, and currently education.
My name is, it works great. My name is Elena Grigoryan, and I'm Chief Strategy Officer of My.Game. My.Game is developer and publisher of different type of games for mobile devices, for PC and consoles. And we collectively gathered more than 1 billion registered users in our games for more than 20 years of our existence on market. We have about 12 game developer studios inside of our company and about 2,000 employees. So we'll be happy to take part into this panel and answer the questions of our moderator.
Maybe in the meantime, you can hand over one of those.
Hello, my name is Yiorgos Koutsides. I work for the Ministry of Education. I'm a district officer in the Paphos area, and I'm the head of sector for private education. Part of our duties is schools, national curriculum, teacher training, in-service training, and school book publications. I'm here to give my knowledge, try to help with the information we have from the ministry, and I hope we're going to have a productive discussion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael Gitsis, Chief Financial and Administrative Officer at Quadcode. So Quadcode is a fintech company specializing in financial brokerage. Not only that we serve as a financial broker regulated by CySEC, we also develop our platform with the help of our amazing IT talents. So we have 400 amazing IT talents here in Cyprus, our beloved Cyprus. And we hope that this place will even attract more talents, and this organization and these kind of conferences will boost our tech community.
Thank you very much. Then maybe, Dr. Koutsides, if you could give us a situation about the private schools on the island today, like how many schools do we have, how many students do we have?
At the moment, I will separate schools into kindergarten, primary, and secondary schools. At the moment, we have 185 kindergarten schools, private, 36 primary, and 40 secondary schools. That sums up to numbers of kids with 22.5% of pupils attend private schools. Something that I need to say that we differentiate private schools into three parts. Schools that teach same national curriculum as public schools, schools that teach similar curriculum to public schools, and schools that teach completely different curriculum to public schools. So we have three categories.
Understood. And in terms of the students today and the students in the future, there are already a number of applications. There's already a plan to grow this number further?
At the moment, we have 2 secondary schools that are on process for evaluation, and we have 3 primary schools at the process of evaluation and establishment. So we have overall 5 schools. Yeah.
And then maybe from the tech sector, obviously the point is trying to get more schools, figuring out how to support the government, make it easier for new schools to be created, to basically solve the problem. But if you could maybe spotlight the issue, Liudmila, from your point of view, like what's the situation today? What's the situation that your company is facing? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, sure. Our company is on both sides currently of the situation. We have many relocated families. They are young families with kids starting age from nursery and up to secondary schools, but mainly it's kindergarten and primary school. And after relocation, all these families face a lot of difficulties with shortage of places in the schools. So we decided that we have to somehow to undertake this under our company and take care about our professionals and provide some opportunity for them to relocate more easily and have infrastructure possibility to take their kids more smoothly to the local culture and schools. In this regard, we already obtained kindergarten, which can accommodate kids from nursery starting from 4 months up to 36 months, and kindergarten after all. And also currently we're, I believe, in the list which has been announced for obtaining license for our primary school, and hope applying soon for obtaining license for secondary school.
For yourself, Elena, how's the situation for you and your company at the moment?
In reality, My.Game has a lot of employees all around the world. We have offices in different countries. And I know that at the moment, choosing this school for your kids is one of the most important criteria for our parents and for our employees to relocate to the country. And we know it very well. We know what exactly challenges they have moving here on Cyprus. Definitely the main part of them make their choice into the private schools for their kids. And taking into account rather long wait list in these schools, we have postponed their relocation for some months because they can't find the place at the school where exactly they would like to learn. And definitely school is a key point for them to choose the city to live. So we are not planning to live in the city, then we have office, but we plan to live in the city, then the school exists for the kids. So definitely we understand that we as a company and Ireland as the industry face this problem in terms of the shortage of the school places in private schools for relocated families and relocated parents with their kids. So we know it very well on our own employees, and definitely we are here to plan our help, our support as a company at this development, because we are ready to help and we know some points, because we had experience of this kind of cooperation between the IT companies and educational institutions and government agencies in our past, and we are ready to implement our experience here as well.
Thank you very much. Michael, what's your take on this situation?
So since I'm a finance person, I'm more into numbers. So I will start with saying that out of the 400 talents that we have in Cyprus, 70% have a family and 40% of them have kids. And we faced major challenges since the moment we started our relocation 1.5 years ago. And many talents that wanted to relocate to Limassol faced challenges in finding, proper schools according to their needs. So they had to live in a different city. And eventually it hurts, the collaboration and commuting from one place to another, it faces challenges. Even in Larnaca, where we actually based most of our tech talents, we understood that there are only 3 licensed schools or kindergartens, and sorry, doctor, if my numbers are not correct, as compared to Limassol, where we have 18 of licensed facilities. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Paphos also has only three of them. So most of them had challenges, and we hear even now and even before that, some of our talents actually, consider whether Cyprus is the best place for them to stay, or shall they go to another place. And this is something that we are fighting with. And we have new recruits, even on the C-level positions, that when the moment we wanted to relocate them, to Cyprus, which we consider a great tech hub for us, after their checks, they decided that they will postpone and delay their process since they cannot find anything. The average queue, if I'm not mistaken, is 6 months, to find a place, and it might be even more than that. Depends on the facility and then the school. So we are working on that. We have some solutions in our backlog. Is it the time to speak about the solutions, or it will be another question about that?
I think it's always a good time to talk about solutions, but I would want to address like an elephant in the room first, and then maybe we do the solutions in the second part.
Please.
One of the things I think that became clear is, on the one hand, there are 22.5% of students in general are already part of private schools, which is, I think, is a good number. On the other hand, we have tech companies that are saying, hey, it's not just that we might face retention problems, that we have existing employees who might have to leave because they don't find place for their kids, but also the growth is limited because there can't be more people relocated here until there are enough places. And now coming to the elephant in the room, there are then 75% of schools, local Greek schools, that would have, that are available too. Like, why aren't there that much of an option? Why are we talking about international schools more than we talk about local Greek schools? Maybe also for the audience to put that in perspective. Does somebody wants to touch this hot potato?
I think I'm here for the hot potatoes, so I might as well answer. Public schools. There is a difference between public schools and private schools. Number one issue, number one limitation, I would say, language. Public schools, all lessons are taught in Greek. So for a new kid entering a public school, either kindergarten, primary or secondary, needs to to enroll into a class and first of all learn the language. So this is one limitation. national curriculum. Public schools follow a certain national curriculum that is guided, that is targeted from the Ministry of Education. Curriculum in public schools help kids to enter universities of Cyprus and in Greece. Private schools, they follow a more international certificate. Most of them have international baccalaureate. They follow Cambridge exams. They follow the GCSE exams or any other exams that are international. So it's easier for the kids to enter into private school. Culture of the school. It's a difference between private and public schools. In public schools, everybody is welcome. Everybody under 15 must stay in class, must be at school. So everybody has to attend school. In private school, there is a selection. You need to attend school, you need to pass exams, you need to pass entry exams. So there are differences. So for parents coming to Cyprus, yes, of course, they find it easier to put their kid, their child, in a private school for these main reasons. So we have placements in public schools. They are limited. There are not many, but our aim is not to leave anyone outside school under the age of 15. So everybody has a place in a public school. So it's up to the parent to decide either they want to stay in a public school or go to a private school.
Does somebody want to add to this? Otherwise, we move to the next question. Then one of the things is understanding resource limitations, right? So from your interactions and the understanding with educational institutions, for example, what you perceive is the most significant resource and infrastructure challenge that we are currently facing? Is it lack of buildings, lack of teachers, lack of permits, anything else? Like you've spent quite some time, Liudmila, I guess. What's your take?
Yeah, I believe I can speak hours on this topic. Actually, it's most of the points which you named now, but the main really difficult point is to achieve for the companies who is willing to open private schools to get license for their buildings. Because Ministry of Education, I can say from my personal experience, are very open. They're really open window. We had a lot of meetings with them. They are giving suggestions on the curricula. They assist a lot, but as only we knock door on the other governmental part and trying to obtain licenses for the building, we are facing challenges. And the main issue is that there is no special procedure for such specific applications, because I believe due to the situation in the market now, such applications should be considered as exceptional, and they should go on a separate line for evaluation and consideration, but they go in the main file and it takes ages for us just being reviewed, not getting license. So it's a lot of committees, a lot of discussions, and for us just to get one reply back, we need to pass months. I know that now there were some introduced changes to the local laws related to the residential buildings, and they dropped significantly timing for review such applications, and residential buildings now can get their licenses within 3 months. I believe, maybe we will follow, I will add some extra for the further questions, but I believe that this should be done also for such special cases as private schools and kindergartens.
Great, thank you very much. How about yourself, Michael? Like you mentioned, you have already a kindergarten in place. You thought about some more schools. Like what's your take on this situation?
Yes, so we are in a process. We have yet to obtain one. But we did have, following the challenges that we had, we did come up with a way, to collaborate with the private sector. And one of the examples that we had is the collaboration with the director of Rise Preschool and Kidsperience, which offered us, like a common way for us, since we don't have the expertise, to run a kindergarten or a preschool or even a school, for us to get, we bring the kids, we bring the facility, and they bring all the expertise from their side on the table, and this kind of a joint, venture can help a lot for companies like us, from other companies that have a lot of employees, talents, and kids, to make sure that they get the best education on the island. So this is a challenge that we face, that we undergo at the moment. I did hear about other challenges of bringing professional teachers to the island, since, after all, the resources are limited. But this is not my expertise, so I'm sure that others can contribute more on that.
And then maybe Dr. Koutsides, if you have...
I will speak from the part of the Ministry of Education. Yes, we have the expertise to help new schools to be established on the academic part. We have the expertise on national curriculums, degrees, teachers, level of teaching, methods of teaching. We can guide them, and I think people that came to our office, I think they felt that we are able to help them on the educational part. And this is what we are doing. What else we are doing to save time and make things progress, of what I said earlier, we can start looking through the academic part parallel to the process of establishing and building. So we can start working on the academic part, we can see the teachers, we can see their curriculums, we see how many lessons they will teach, programs of study, exams, what level of exams, students in class, teacher delivering the lesson, we can do that. But the part of the infrastructure and the school building is something that because we are educators, and really we cannot help them on that.
Can I add
Please,
also
yes.
one small remark, which also I believe we would like to ask for help of the government part, is there is a special process which we have to pass through the organization named Koutsides for the evaluation of the diplomas of people who is going to teach. And this process is quite lengthy as well. Me personally, I have to pass for the other issues through this evaluation. And on my own experience, it took 8 months for me to get reply back. I believe that this is also a crucial point because teachers, they cannot start teaching while they don't have this confirmation from local government that their education is valid to be teacher in Cyprus.
I think it's one of those, Liudmila, if you want to add, but I think it's one of those points, that we have a chance also to talk about later when we talk about like outreach and dialogue, to talk about some forums or some ways on how we can actually, take what we already have built and the needs that the tech companies are. We're talking about tech companies today because it's Tech Island, obviously. We're not the only ones, right? Everybody is facing, and I think we are probably representative of the topic. So there's also time for later, but Liudmila, please, at your...
Yeah, I would like to add that doesn't work. Yeah, finally, it's helpful. I personally believe that we definitely should think not only about the growth of the quantity of the schools we would like to open, but about the quality of the schools as well. And at this point, I'm not talking only about the curriculum base. Definitely it should be international curriculum-based schools and so on. But I believe that from the point of view from the IT specialist, I believe that the main part of them keen to prepare their kids for new IT era and to prepare their kids in terms of the IT-related products as well and courses as well. And I believe that IT company definitely could help in this area because we can provide teachers, speakers to help to produce the courses IT-related courses for our schools at our universities, help our kids to get finally very high professional preparation for their future. And moreover, My.Games has experience in our past and definitely will be more than happy to support in this area. Because we have already prepared courses, IT-based courses for schools, kids, and for university. And as for IP and for IT companies, definitely it will be very, very useful to choose the school in case there is some IT-related courses inside.
I think it's a really interesting point that you're raising, also because in the past when I talk to some of the colleagues from Cyprus, usually when they're talking about career aspiration, right? It's we have attorneys, we have accountants, right? We have people work in banking, but usually IT and technology. If you ask the local community, is not on the list. While if you ask the international community, IT is definitely one of the top jobs to go for. So if there would be more education in that field, the tech companies could also source from people from Cyprus more than actually relocating people. I think that's a really interesting point. Talking and continue to talk on the subject about the tech industry's role. I mean, you already, Liudmila, for example, you already mentioned you've done a few things for the school. So you said you already have a kindergarten in place. Michael, you have a kindergarten in place. You're going for more schools. Can you elaborate a bit more on your plans? What's your vision? How is 2023, 24, 25 looking for you in terms of not just your company growth, but in relation to building the schools and providing a place for the kids of the employees?
I believe that due to the current situation and such companies like our, I know that we are not alone in the market. Already we have some precedents with the companies who managed to open and get license for the schools. I can see that there is tendency from the part of the government to hear us knocking their doors, to change some things, to try to assist. I believe that tendency for the professionals to come to Cyprus is not going to stop. Even from our experience and numbers you mentioned already for this year, we have still increasing numbers for young people arriving to Cyprus. And I believe that within 23, 24, 25, we should find common solution with local authorities to accommodate these families who is coming, to make general integration with local culture and local people, and maybe as a future solution, maybe even local schools can make some changes internally that these families who is coming, they have more flexibility to choose local schools or private schools, but with more smooth integration. I mean, maybe some teaching process should be changed, or maybe some teachers speaking, different languages should be introduced to local schools. But I believe that this tendency will go, but with better results, faster results, and good opportunities for Cyprus to grow as a tech island.
Yeah, send 1-1. So since we are only at the beginning and the early stages of actually having our own, private preschool or school, I don't have much insights on that in the upcoming year, because at first we need to establish it. But I do want to use this stage to say that we at Quadcode want to integrate with universities in order, to attract the local talent. And as the panelists already said, we need to make sure that they learn the newest programming languages and the newest technology stack and courses that will help them eventually integrate into the market and expand the tech hub, and not having it only imported tech specialists, but also local ones. We want that a lot, so this is our strategic plan for the upcoming years, to make sure that we, as the panelist also said, integrate into the community, and for the community to integrate back to us.
Maybe Dr. Koutsides on that subject, like you already mentioned, you're expanding the schools, and there's already a large level of international private schools. Do you think that a more IT-focused curriculum is something that, or a closer collaboration with the tech industry is something that's feasible?
There is an IT culture in public schools at the moment. We have a syllabus for IT from primary till end of secondary. We prepare students to sit exams on IT. We have established STEAM schools the last 3 years. That is very crucial and very important for us. We created afternoon schools that teach STEAM. And as far as I know, ICT in public schools is earning a big place in the national curriculum. There is an interest. We organize many competitions from universities, Cyprus University and private universities. We introduced 3D printers, 3D scanners. We introduced robotics into classes. Yes, we are earning ground, but yes, it's IT it's an area that is developing every day. So we're trying to catch up with it. And yes, big companies that are working with IT facilities, they are more than welcome to come to schools, offer programs, offer competition to kids, and involve as many as possible. Yes, we're positive to that, and we're welcoming initiatives like that.
It's a good handover to the other question that we have, right? Like the importance of collaboration, right? We're not doing it on our own. We've been working very well together in the past. We're continuing to working very well together in the future, I'm sure. What are a few things that we could, discuss together right now to find ways to solve the problems that we're all facing, right? And that goes both ways, for the IT companies, but also obviously for the government, for the schools. Like, do you have any ideas for collaborations in that field that goes beyond, some of the examples that you just made?
Collaboration between companies and schools.
Companies and schools, or the government, where it's possible, where we can work all three together. Yes.
We are open to discussions. We are open for people with companies to come and discuss and put down their limitations they have at the moment on the educational part, on the academic part. We are progressing too with the demand, because it was a demand that came up very recently, so we're trying to cope with the demand. We understand the need, that's for sure, and as far as I know, we proved that we understand the need for new schools. We established 2 new schools the last 2 years in a very limited time because we wanted to help. So we are open for discussion, we are open for ideas, and if the ministry is capable to help them, we won't hesitate to do it. So they need to make sure, they need to understand that we want to help them. We are here. Yeah.
Maybe on that subject really quick, I mean, there was this, and I mentioned that early, I know some of you came a bit later, that we have right now around 24,000 IT professionals. And one of the conversations that I had in the past is like, well, most of the people that wanted to come already here, right? Like the amount might not be increasing as much, but then I had the chance to talk with you prior to this panel, and you have a different take on this, right? Like for your own companies, but also for the tech industry in general. Do you think it's going to slow down, or do you think we continue on that rise? Maybe.
Okay, so I'll take this. I think there are 2 sides to that. The government has done a great job to introduce incentives both for companies, for corporates, and for individuals to join Cyprus, to relocate to Cyprus. So this is the good part. The challenging part is that so many talents came along with their families, and it caused some kind of a bottleneck. So per my view, even if we solve one thing, we will have a problem in another thing. So even if we solve the accommodation problem, which is not discussed in this panel, discussed probably in other panels, so we will be able to accommodate more people in Limassol, Larnaca, everywhere, but then we have the infrastructure, the roads, for example. I don't know, probably most of you have kids, how much time it takes you to commute and put your kids into school. For me, it takes 1 hour at the moment. And the situation on the roads became crazy. And once we solve that, I assume that we're gonna have another problem in place. So taking all of this into consideration, we need to see where the balance, where this balance would be, whether there will be influx or an outflux. I really hope that we're gonna see an influx, and I really hope that the private sector and the government will pick up the glove and make sure that we support all the needs of the tech industry so that we could proceed and go higher.
And then maybe Liudmila also, Elena, I mean, your companies are obviously growing and you have international companies, so you grow everywhere, but even within Cyprus, you have plans to grow further, to either hire people locally or to relocate. What's the situation for you?
We do hire local people as well, but yes, I will be very honest and open that we have more people coming from worldwide, not only from eastern part of Europe, Russia, Ukraine, as well this part of people, but we have a lot of people from India, IT specialists from Europe, so that's why for us it's very important and crucial subject, as it was mentioned, not only with relocation and placement these people and assisting them to find where they're going to live and stay, but also to assist them to find place for their kids to continue their education, and if it's possible to at least trying to continue the education they already had. I mean, better if it's education of international standards, so they go more easily and this transition is more smooth. Also, there is one big problem which we are facing. It's about schools finishing their academic day at 2 o'clock. Most of the employees, we don't have all employees working distantly. Most of employees who is working in the office, they have difficulties to leave from the office in lunch hours because of traffic and come back to the office. So, for example, our school suggests full day until 6 o'clock, kids staying in the school and have not only educational part, but also afternoon entertainment part where they can get their additional education and they can choose courses. I believe it's very important for many of the companies we have in Cyprus because due to growing number of upcoming people, number of growing cars on the streets, it become really serious problem.
From our point of view, from My.Game's point of view, I could see that at the current moment, we are just at the beginning of relocation process for our employees. I already indicated that we have about 2,000 people in company, and only 100 was relocated here in Cyprus. That's why I really believe that the number of our employees here will be much higher next year and years after that. So I can say that we are just at the end of the process, not only for My.Games, but for the whole IT industry. I believe that just at the beginning of this process, so it doesn't stop in any case.
I think there's this, Michael, and you mentioned it briefly, but I think it's worth like highlighting it, right? Like the Cyprus, the government, the tech industry that exists has done a lot already, right? When you look at Cyprus today versus maybe Cyprus 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, especially for the tech industry, it's very different. It's a very different island, and our problems continue, obviously, in the sense that now that everybody is coming here, or everybody wants to come, now that Cyprus is established as the tech island, and everybody wants to come here. First became a little bit of an office shortage, then a little bit of a housing problems. Now, indeed, I think everybody of us is driving their kids to school for like 50 minutes at least, depending on the school. Focusing a bit on the school situation and knowing that we have around 5 minutes, maybe a couple of closing remarks on that subject. Like, what do you hope this panel is initiating? What do you hope that, or what's the one thing that you would love to change, in the coming months, sooner rather than later? Maybe that's a question to ask, and we can maybe start with Michael and then come the way back to my side.
Okay, so probably I don't have more than 1 minute. I'm just gonna say that the current situation actually attracts high-level employees and the best tech minds in the world into Cyprus, making it an IT hub, perhaps even for entire Europe. But in order for this to happen, we need to make sure that we have all infrastructure in place, and it would be great, as the panelists already said, if the government helps with speeding up licenses, not only for schooling, for development as well, and everything around it, so that we could be what we dream of as Cyprus as a whole.
We definitely hope for the new chapter of the open dialogue between the government agencies and education organizations and IT companies, the same dialogue that we had for different areas, and now I'm absolutely agree the second chapter of this dialogue. It's the educational dialogue, and we are ready to be a part of this dialogue. We're ready to help because we know how to help. So just involve us, and we are here to help you because we definitely believe in our future here in Ireland, and we build our strategy, our further growth together with the island. Not only My.Games, but I'm sure that all IT companies here think the same. So just think about us.
I would like to say that we are open to a dialogue for discussion. We need to tackle the issues and spot them and find solutions. Companies need to understand that to establish a school, that the school is an infrastructure. Our product is quality in learning, and we need to guarantee that quality is taking place in every school in the island. So to guarantee the quality, it means we need to make small steps at a time and progress into an infrastructure called school. But we're here, we can help. As I said earlier, we have expertise to help the companies and establish their schools, but it needs lots of programming, lots of logistics that they need to be aware of, and something that we are aware of. Thank you.
I believe that based on TechIsland vision and opportunities which all of our IT companies managed to gain through this organization, I think that it could be a very good idea to create a special committee which will be presented not only by IT companies but also with members of the government who can hear our pain directly and maybe absorb it more faster and react more faster to such situations. And also, I will use my chance to mention one thing which I did not manage to say about our suggestions, but I believe it's important to take into consideration the fact that when families are relocated, and for example, they're relocated in the middle of the academic year, and knowing our challenge to find place in the schools, it could be a good idea. And I know that there is open law which is not clear to allow to such families to continue their kids' distance learning, for example, from their countries they came, to complete their academic year, to secure their place in the local schools, and after to have chance to integrate more easily. The issue why I raise it is that being able for the families to obtain documents to stay in this country and work, they have to go through the migration process. And this process requires presentation of the certificate proving that the child is registered in local licensed school. I would like to emphasize licensed school. So this is a serious problem we are facing, particularly in our company now.
Then thank you very much, everybody. I think we have
Thank you.
a few seconds left, but appreciate all your time.